Hi fellow travelers, this is SD Traveler here today, and I just wanted to do the last video of a three-part series that I did on New Zealand. For those of you that are just tuning in, I did a couple of videos about my trip to New Zealand in 2018, and I give a whole bunch of recommendations of what to do, what the prices were like, tours that you should go on, and what you should expect whenever you make that trip out there. For those of you that have been watching this video from the very beginning, I really appreciate you, all of your support, and all of the feedback that I have gotten from this series. I'm hoping to continue to do things like this for you guys so that you get more insight to places that you wish to visit. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are trying to travel more, but they want to do it cheaply. They don't want to spend thousands of dollars on vacation, and I'm hoping to be able to bring that to you guys and hopefully give you some insight on what you can do and how to make things easier on you whenever you go on vacation. For this last video, I'm just going to do a quick synopsis of everything that we ran over. I'm going to go over all of my recommendations, and I'm just going to make sure that I give you guys, again, the best places to go visit in New Zealand from my personal experience. I was only there for 2 weeks, so there wasn't a lot of time for me to be able to explore more in depth. But I did have a really great time with the places that I did get to see, and I just want to be able to share that experience, that love, and that ability to adventure wherever you want to, whenever you want to, and what the best places are. So the top 3 places that I recommend for New Zealand is going to be Wanaka, Queenstown, and Hobbiton. All 3 of those places are absolutely wonderful. 2 of them are in the South Island, 1 of them is on the North Island. And so I recommend that if you're going to be going to New Zealand and you wish to do both islands, to give yourself more than 2 weeks to be able to explore them. If you're going to stay on the South Island, then those are the 2 that I would definitely recommend. If you have more than time than 2 weeks, definitely make your way around. Be aware of the off-season. The off-season is between September to October, and most of that stuff is going to be 50% off on all of the things that you rent from New Zealand, which is fantastic. Their tours are also going to be 50% off because you're making that promise to be there at a certain time, and in their off-season they don't have a lot of tourism, so they actually really love it when you come over there in the off-season and that you spend a little bit of the moolah, if you know what I'm saying. So I definitely recommend going there between September and October. It's definitely going to be one of the better times to go just because you get bigger discounts, and the weather is perfect. If you like it to not be too hot and not too cold, this is the great time for you to go and to be able to experience all of New Zealand's natural beauty. So for those of you that are a little bit adventurous, but you are not into the big adrenaline sort of things, I recommend 3 tours that you guys should check out, if not 4, because there's another one. One of them is going to be Hobbiton. If you are a fan of the Lord of the Rings, if you're a fan of the Hobbit movies, I recommend going and visiting Hobbiton. It's not very expensive to go and do the tour itself. It's probably right around $80 for you to go and check it out. That includes having a 2-hour tour of the actual set itself, which, if you know what I'm talking about, it's going to be the set for the Shire. You're going to get to walk around, you're going to get to see all of the homes that they feature, and then you'll also get to see Bilbo Baggins' home at the very top of the hill. At the very end, you get to go to the Green Dragon, where you get a free beer of your choosing. And honestly, that's the best part of the entire thing. If you're just a huge fan, you will be in heaven. I promise you that. You're going to love every single second of it. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to take photos, and they're going to give you the inside scoop of what happens on that specific site, and they're going to tell you little things here and there that they don't get to tell you from the movie. So that's pretty cool to see and to have done if it's on your list. The second tour that I recommend after Hobbiton would be to do a paragliding tour of sorts. It's located in Queenstown, and for those of you that are not all that interested in skydiving, this is a great second choice. Not only is it way safer than skydiving is, but it's also a lot calmer. You get to sit in the air, almost kind of like you're in a seat. You have someone that is strapped to you and will guide you through the whole process. It does sound a little bit scary, but quite honestly, it is much more calm than falling for 60 seconds and then having to glide from there after your parachute opens like you do for skydiving. It also takes a lot less time. You just set up a time slot, you show up, you hike up a mountain, and then off you go. And then you're gliding through the air. The third and fourth tour that I would recommend would be Milford Sound, which I actually did a video on. Milford Sound is a place that is not touched by humans. Nobody has ever tried to live there. It's all made by a glacier, and because of that, the area is magnificent. Everything there is completely 100% natural. You have to take a bus to get there, and then once you get off of the bus, you then go onto a boat where you get to have some lunch or dinner, and you get to have a couple of drinks, and you get to sit outside and enjoy the views that you get to see at All 360 View. It's quite beautiful, it's amazing, it's something that you will never experience, and the sister of Milford Sound is called Doubtful Sound, which would be tour number 4 that I would recommend. It is an all-day tour. So you would have to do it the next day or a couple of days after your Milford Sound tour, and you would be doing basically the same thing that you did in Milford, but in Doubtful Sound. Doubtful Sound isn't as visited as Milford Sound. Reason being is that they have done a lot more movies from Milford. Doubtful is kind of more quiet. It's still beautiful, but it's not as used. So if you're definitely going to go and visit New Zealand and you do Milford Sound, I would highly recommend doing Doubtful Sound as well. There are 2 other tours that I would recommend, or well, not really tours, but more of the adrenaline-based things that you can do. One of them is skydiving, which, as you guys know, I did at 15,000 feet. And it was absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't change it for the world. If you're healthy and you've got some cash and you're willing to trust a random stranger to be strapped to you and to help you fall from 15,000 feet safely, then I would recommend going to Wanaka skydiving. For me personally, it was an experience that I would not trade for the world. I love every second of it, and if it's on your list, then I would recommend doing it in New Zealand. It definitely has changed my perspective on our world, and it definitely has helped me to realize that I'm not actually all that afraid of heights. I thought that I would be, and I would be that person that would throw up and it would be a disaster, but as it turns out, I'm not that kind of person. So the more you know, right? You get to learn things the more that you do things. I would recommend, if you like climbing, would be the waterfall climb. There is a tour in Wanaka where you get to go ahead and climb up about 250 to 350 feet up this waterfall. You get to have a guide that leads you in this old-fashioned style of climbing, and it's what the French used to do. Unfortunately, I don't remember what it's called. It starts with a V, I believe, and it's one of those tours where you get all of your safety gear and then they walk you through the correct way to climb the waterfall. It is quite beautiful. It's kind of tasking, so if you're not really all that athletic, it might not be your cup of tea. It can be a little bit dangerous, especially if the equipment is not checked or if you're not paying attention and you mess up. But it is a really cool tour, and you get to see a view from very far above. You get to interact with the waterfall, and if you would like, you can drink from the springs. If you guys are thinking about going to New Zealand, the time that I recommend is going between September and October. Reason being is that the weather there is going to be between the 40s to the 70s. Honestly, I really like it when the weather is not too hot and not too cold, and that you can go ahead and do anything that you want to outside without having the casualties of not bringing heavy enough clothing. I personally think that it's one of those times of the year where it's the best time to travel. You're not going to get eaten by mosquitoes. You're not going to be getting sunburned just by walking outside for 10 minutes. You're not going to freeze your butt off and regret not bringing that sweater. And you're definitely not going to have one of those moments where you regret wearing those shoes that you thought was going to be able to withstand all kinds of weather. Not only that, but going between September and October means that you get about 50% off on everything that you rent. It is their off season, so it's that time of the year that you can definitely go over there and you can spend a good amount of money that will get you a good portion of the way through your vacation. You don't have to worry about overspending, which is really nice. And if you rent anything like a camper van in advance, then you get up to 50% off, which can help you in the long run when it comes to saving money. Now, of course, with anything else, you just never know. All the countries change all the time, so you never know what will be offered or available whenever you go to New Zealand. But in 2018, for me, it was at least between 40 to 50% off on everything that I rented. But I made sure that everything was done 3 to 4 months ahead of time. So if you're going to be doing any kind of trip out of the United States, especially in New Zealand, make sure you do it anywhere between 4 to 6 months in advance. If you're one of those people that wants to go even further, I would go up to a year in advance. So the total amount that I probably spent for this entire trip was right around $5,000. I've rounded it to $5,000 because I'm more than sure that I lost 2 or 3 receipts somewhere in this whole process. Reason being is that I've actually held on to these receipts for about 6 months now, and things happen, they kind of deteriorate. You can't necessarily just keep them and hope that things will be okay. And so unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that 1 or 2 of them or more have gone missing. So even though I have some of the totals when it comes to what I spent, I don't think that they're exactly correct. So I have actually bumped up those totals. So for the plane ticket, it was right around $1,700, but I bumped that up to $1,800 because of taxes. Gas, I probably spent like $200 or so. Food was right around $200 or so. And then souvenirs, it's kind of an on and off thing from the receipts. It looks like I might have spent right around $200, $300, but the currency rate exchange is kind of off on that. So in terms of everything in my total, I really just kind of rounded to $5,000. I'm hoping for this next trip that I go internationally that I will be able to save more of the receipts and have a more accurate total for you guys. But right now that's what I have. So really, all in all, if you're gonna go to New Zealand, these are some of the things that you should expect. If you want to see more of my adventures, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and follow along. I go on a lot of different adventures throughout the year, but most of them are in the United States. I've only just started to make my travel go back into the international world, and I am super excited about it. I'm hoping that this year I will be going to Iceland, and then next year I would like to go back to New Zealand to do more digging and to be able to enjoy more of that beautiful country. And I know that I miss so much just by not having enough time. So if you guys would like to support any of my trips or anything like that, make sure to hit the subscribe button or go check out my blog where I have art pieces that are for sale. And that blog is www.sdtraveler.org. Again, it's www.sdtraveler.org. And all of my art is for sale on my site. You can easily buy them just by clicking the Buy Now button, and you will automatically make a payment so that your art will get to you within 3 to 5 days. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos and for being supportive and for helping me on my journey. I know that there have been a few videos here and there that I have missed the date when it comes to putting it out for you guys, and I deeply apologize. There has been a lot going on in my life, just like for anybody else. And I'm trying really hard to keep up with this channel and to make sure that you guys get everything that you deserve and more. If you want to support my travels, my adventures, or anything like that at all, please go ahead, subscribe, follow along. Anything that you do will help. Anything. So I am super appreciative, and I hope you guys will follow along on my journey. For you fellow travelers out there, what's your next destination? See you in the next one.